is like...
This is so fancy.
Should put these on first. This is the most professional podcast that I have ever done. They were like, it includes no editing. I was like, that's fine. I don't edit it. I just press play.
I don't even have notes.
Alrighty. Well, I am so goddamn excited for this episode. Like, it kind of breaks my heart that it's not going to be out until next year, but it's really exciting for us to have this experience together. For everybody that... I might upload it on YouTube, so like, hello and welcome. For everybody that is listening and tuning in to the podcast, today we have one of the most special guests I've probably ever had on my podcast. We have my client, Jaz. Before I go into like a full riff of you and our experience, like I actually want you to introduce yourself and give us the rundown. Who are you? How do you want to introduce yourself? And we'll just chat from there.
I love this. First of all, I'm so honored and I'm so excited for this conversation. Like this morning I was getting so excited because I was like, you know me literally inside and out. So the conversation is just going to be epic anyway. But I'm Jaz. I'm 22. I'm originally from Lennox Head, a small town in New South Wales. Moved to Gold Coast, moved to Airlie Beach. That's where I currently live now. And basically, like in a bit of a nutshell, I'm a fitness coach. I'm an online health and fitness coach, sports nutritionist, and I've been into fitness since literally like day dot. It went down a bit of a dark path where I ended up with an eating disorder years ago in high school, went through that, and I feel like at that point, that was like my like intuition. I was like, yeah, this is happening for a reason, and I know I'm going to be a coach, and I know I'm going to help women never get to that point and really like achieve results in a really seamless way where it's nothing to do with the extremes, because that's what I experienced and I knew that happened for a reason. So that was my childhood in a massive nutshell.
In a very,
very big nutshell. And then, yeah, like moved through that, became PT like as soon as I could, basically head first in the fitness industry, competed in a bikini comp, moved online. And that's kind of where I'm at in a massive nutshell of the past like 20 years.
I'm like, we need to go way deeper. One of the things that I want to say first is like, it makes me like, it really fills up a piece of my heart because I know that you're in this industry or in the fitness industry for forever. Like I know that that's your genuine passion. Whereas for me, it's like when I started in fitness, was like that's what got me in the door to being here where we are right now. Yeah. But it's like I get to live out my like fitness dreams through you, because I'm like bouncing my chair right now. I'm like, I know you're going to be in it forever, and that like the plans that you have for the future of your business and like what I really want to dive into today is like, let's really talk about you starting your own business, because it was April, like mid-April. And I remember you starting coaching with me at the beginning of April, and I remember you saying to me like, hey, we're going to launch my business in August, and I was like, absolutely the fuck not, it's going to be so much sooner than that. Like, talk us through what's it been like starting your own business, and then we can talk about where you're at now, because there's just been so much and there's so many lessons that I know people can take away, especially in going after and wanting to build a business. Like, tell us your experience in that.
So I guess before I jump into my business, like I had, when I was 18 doing PT face-to-face, that was like my own business in a sense, but it wasn't like online, it wasn't anything, it was just like face-to-face PT, which was amazing. Then I went with another online coach and I worked under her for 2 years. So I was online with her, and then I remember, I'll just take it back to when I first like DM'd you, because I remember being like...
Sorry, the first DM or like...
Yeah, it took a little while. But I remember being like, I remember you competed, I think a little bit after me or maybe before me.
It was after.
After, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I love this chick. And I remember following you before that anyway. And I was like, there was just something about you. I remember seeing you in person as well. And I was like, I don't know, there's something about Tess that I don't know. I didn't even know you did mindset coaching then, I think, when I very first saw you.
Yeah, I don't think I did when
you did that.
No, not when I made my WBFF debut, whatever.
And I was like, maybe I just need to be friends with her. I don't know. I was like, maybe she's just a vibe and I can just feel her energy. And then I followed your journey. And then when you went into mindset business, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And that's when I was like looking at that type of realm of things, because I wanted to do my own business. And I knew that deep down. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. And then I remember I signed up to your masterclass, the Journey to Six Figures or something to do with that.
Yep, 6-figure lessons.
Yep, 6-figure lessons. And I watched that. And I had it on like speaker with Luke as well. And I was like, I'm going to work with this chick. And he was kind of like, he doesn't understand. I was like, deep down, I was like, yeah, I'm 100% going to work with her. I just didn't know when. And I was like, I was like, if I see an elephant on TV, I'll sign up with Tess. Like, I was like trying to convince myself.
I had no idea of any of
Yeah,
this.
you didn't know this. And I was like doing these things in my mind, being like, if I see a butterfly on this day, I'm going to sign with Tess. Like I was just trying to like be like, just do it, Jaz, because I couldn't get over the line because I was like, oh, it's like, you know, the financials. And I knew that once I signed up with you, I would be starting my own business and it would actually be happening. So yeah, fast forward to a couple of DMs later. And then I signed up with you, which was just like, and that was to a mindset container, which I wanted because for one, I've always wanted a mindset coach. But two, I knew that I had to work through shit to start my own business and actually launch that. And so yeah, like what was it, 12 weeks in? No, it was like 6 weeks in.
Yeah.
And I literally launched my own business. And I remember coming to you and filling out that form being like, yep, it's going to be in August because that's what aligned with my previous job in my head. And it was like that type of thing. And then, yeah, you were just like, no, we're doing this ASAP. And I was like, holy shit, it's happening. But yeah, that's kind of the journey. 6 weeks since signing up with you to start my own business, which was crazy in my mind. But yeah, I'm so happy.
It really makes sense because I know for you it was a lot about like, oh, it's got to be right and the timing's got to be right and and this and that and that and that. And intuitively I was like, no, she's just got to like send it 100%, and what comes after that, like it's all going to be perfect, and the human that you grow into after that. And like I want to speak a little bit on the fact that, yeah, you came into like a mindset container, and in that I feel like when I reflect on our relationship and our calls, it's like those first few calls, I still remember the first call, you being like 10 minutes in and being like, I don't know why I'm crying.
Literally sobbing.
I was like, this is my human. This is the best thing ever. But it's like you've evolved through, and it's not to say that personal and mindset things aren't ever going to come up again, because they still do, and they still do in the same ways, but also in very different ways. But it's like, because we started with that foundation of this is a mindset container and you really were focused on you as a human behind everything, I feel like that really set you a super solid foundation to like skyrocket into the place that you are now. And like, I just want to give people some numbers. Let's talk about it. So do you know how many months you've been in business for now?
I think it's been 6.
And how many clients do you have now?
26.
Fucking wild. Like actually wild. And even to the point of like the first milestone was starting the business and sending it. And then there was a lot of like figuring things out in that. And then the second milestone was, I want to go full time. And I remember you saying that. You said it to me, but you also said it in our group mentorship call. By the end of the year, I'm going to be full time in my business. And that happened when?
3 weeks ago.
Fucking wild.
Literally insane.
And on top of that, even more, it's like, what did you say to me when you were like, I'm going to go full time in my business, and it's December and all of this stuff is happening? Like, what was the belief you had at that point in time?
It was like, I had the self-doubt of the timing for one. Like it was like, that's only, because I remember the first few months of business, I was like, it was going well, but I was also comparing my journey to others, which we've already worked through. But then like, yeah, I think it was like the nerve-wracking thing of like, holy shit, that means I'm by myself in December. What if I go backwards? What if shit goes south? Like that was my thought pattern, which you know about as well. But yeah, that was, yeah.
And when I remember saying to you, like, you said something to me along the lines of like, it's December, people don't sign up in December.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What's going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. And I remember saying to you like, well, that doesn't have to be the truth. And then ever since then, it's been like client.
Literally.
And not even that, it's like aligned clients that I know when you speak about them, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Literally. And that was the thing. I thought December would be a really slow month. And that was my huge worry. Now you've clicked my memory.
Yeah.
That was my massive worry. I was like, okay, if I do this in December, logically it doesn't really make sense in my mind because, I don't know, I just thought it'd be a lull in December. Next minute, signed like another 6 clients that were completely aligned. Like, which, yeah, it's just insane. Honestly, reflecting back on the last 6 months, it's almost like hard to believe where I was at 6 months ago compared to where I'm at now. It's freaking wild.
And that's on like time collapsing. It's failing hard and failing fast. Like you made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. It's like, but you committed to just like every time I've reflected something to you, I literally give you an idea. And then like 2 hours later, she's like talking about it on her Instagram story. I'm like, great. You implement everything so quickly and you create the momentum. It's no wonder that your external results are a reflection of that because of the human that you are. And like business is always going to have different experiences and we're going to deal with that as those things come up. But it's been such a privilege to just watch you like fully fucking send it. And if you thought December was a lull, and that's usually what happens in this industry and like this time of the year and whatever in business, it's like, what the fuck is going to happen in January when like the fitness industry booms? I'm so excited to watch you through that.
I'm really excited. And that's what I was thinking about today. It's just like crazy that we're mid-December and I've chosen to work through because that's what I love to do and that's what I'm wanting to do. And I'm just like really, it's just taking me complete surprise. I'm like, I can't believe I'm in the position I'm in, but I also really can because it just makes sense. But it's really exciting to think about January because, yeah, like everyone talks about, like even conversations I've had recently, everyone just says December's a lull. And it's just like, fuck, it wasn't for me.
It just goes to show how much like society's conditions are one way, and there is so much truth to the fact that December is a lull, but also I am my own like sovereign human being and I don't have to have the same experiences or there's always going to be an outlier. I get to choose to be the outlier and like go and create the fucking life of my dreams. And actually I would love to hear you speak about like what's it been like in your business and in your life alongside your business since you've been full-time in that now.
It's been like phenomenal. Like it's almost like everything, like I look back on, no one even knows this to be honest, except for like my close people, but no one in my business, I guess, knew I had a second job because I never voiced it. I never even wanted that to be something I talked about because I was like, I just want to be like, I'm manifesting full-time in my business and I just kept it that way. But like even reflecting back to when I was at the fruit shop, I was doing all those hours at night. Like I was in my hustle era, but I was also living for it because I was like, this is what is required.
It wasn't a wounded hustle. It was
from a good place. And that's what happened when I moved then to fitness group instructing and I was in that same like hustle vibe, but it was still all good. But then it got to the end, like we talked about, where I was like, okay, this is not from, like, it's not making me feel good anymore. Like, I really just want to be full-time in business. And the transition from my life when I had a second job to where I'm at now is so, like, I'm so much more, like, it's like, oh, like, everything's happened for a reason. It's like a huge weight off my shoulders because I'm just, like, I feel like I can breathe and I can feel like I can, like, practice everything that we've talked about just with my lifestyle anyway, and like embodiment and like slowing down more and just like being more present. Like I feel like since being full-time in business, it's just been a massive weight off my shoulders and like it's just like the most exciting. I still can't believe it. Like on the plane here, I'm like, I'm full-time in business. Like I could go to the plane anywhere and I would still make money. You know what I mean? Like that was my thought process. I can just fucking go off. Yeah, it's just been insane. And like even my relationship with Luke, like since being full-time, because I used to be doing casual hours Arvo night, so it'd be coming home, having dinner, going to bed. Like it was, I still live life greatly and I was fucking happy, but like it was just different to what's it. And it's like I can really like start to work on like living the life that I've always wanted to work towards, which is why I've had my own business and why I do what I do. So it's been really beautiful.
I want to talk about that transition because there was so many times when we had the conversation about you going full time and being like, now's not the right time. Like it's not like it was coming from an ego thing of like, I've just had enough and I want to like fucking send it and I'm ready and but like there is an element to, we need to have a masculine structure of safety so that when you do send it and you do take the courageous leap, like what comes back from that is an amplification of what you already knew to be true inside of you, right? And I think there's this part where as you were going into from the fruit shop to fitness, it was like, yep, this is the right move. And this is showing myself that if I need to go and get something financially to support me, I can do that really easily. And I think there's a lot of like shame that comes alongside that, but there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself as a human and your bills that you need to pay behind the scenes so that you don't have that anxious attachment to your business. And then equally there's a time where that was once expansive and now it becomes a limitation and you got caught up in this like, oh, but this scenario is happening and this thing's happening and this person said this thing, should I now not go full time? And it was really so nice for me to be that anchor for you in that moment of like, no, now we send it. Like now we go. And I think it really is a mirror to what you already knew to be true inside of you. Like I would never tell you to do something that you didn't want to inherently do anyways, but it's just like receiving that external permission slip from somebody that understands all the textures and the layers and like, I could see my own bias in it. Like my pattern is like, just fucking send it and like figure it out. And I clocked myself in that as a coach and a mentor, not to project that onto you, but to really go like, what's right for Jazz right now? And I think that lesson or that experience probably for you, but also for other people to learn the wisdom of, like, there is never a right answer based on like what the text of the the circumstance is. It's like everything that was underneath it allowed us to figure out like, oh, now we send it and now we go.
And that was really cool. Like I remember it was when I was last here, maybe a month ago, we had that conversation. And because like, yeah, like I remember a few times like Voxering Tess and I was like, I fucking don't want to go to work right now. Like I just want to be full time. And it wasn't the time. Like, and I didn't ever want to rely on my business. Like we've talked about from the day dot. I didn't ever want to like market in a icky way for me and like try to get on clients just to make money and just to get by. Like I didn't want that. I wanted to be from a really clean space where I attracted aligned clients, and I also knew that might take time, and that's okay. So having the second job at the start was what was needed, because I wanted to pay rent, pay my groceries, live life, and not be stressed with my business, because I wanted to be really seamless. So that was the whole vibe, and that's what we worked through at the start anyway. And then when it got to the point where it was the opposite end, it was really hard for me, because I was like, fuck, I'm getting like one person say this, another person say this, also knowing what I want to do deep down. But then when I got that confirmation from you, it wasn't even confirmation, it kind of was though. You were like, yeah, like you just had this vibe about you on that call a month ago, whatever. And I was like, it just meant so much for you to be like, and I could just see in your energy on that group mentorship call, you were just like, yep, Jaz, this is your time. Like I know right now this is the answer that you need, like you know within yourself. And you just gave me that like little nudge, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is the right time. And even like you saying that, because I know you know me so well, and I know you wouldn't like say, yeah, fucking send it, if you knew like, Jaz, it's not the right time right now. But because you were like, you know me, you know my business, you know my life, you're like, yeah, it's the right time. And I was like, fuck yes, I was on a high, went home, obviously went full time, and it's just been like, yeah, amazing. It was like the perfect timing, literally, which is really cool.
And you know what I think, like you facing that fear, because like I have no fear for you, but you fucking have fear for you. And that's natural. You're supposed to, like if you want to do something that's courageous, like being courageous isn't to be fearless, it's to move within the face of fear, right? You were able to move through that, and you were able to be a leader in that. And I think that's such a mirror to, whilst your clients aren't going through this fear of like, I'm moving from safety to then doing my business online, they're moving through fear all the time. Like we know that someone's health and fitness journey, especially like in the area that you desire to work in, and we'll speak to that in a second, but with people's relationship with food, like there's a lot of fear that comes up in that, and there's a lot of courage required of somebody. And I think it's no surprise and no like coincidence that your clients, or you attracted all of these clients that are going to go through the same things, because you became a leader in the next level of your life.
That makes so much sense. So true. And that's like exactly what happened, which is really cool.
Tell us about, like, I want to zoom in on what you actually do in fitness, because fitness is so broad to say, like health and fitness. And I think like at the start of you going online, it was very much like marketing to the health and fitness, and that's perfect. But now as you start to grow your books and grow your clients, it's like you're actually in the position now where you get to not niche down. And I think we've had this conversation a few times about like, should I niche and should I this and should I that? But it's like, actually, what sort of person do you want to work with, and speaking to them and really becoming more fearless or moving with the fear of like, not speaking to everyone, not being the coach for everyone, but being the coach for the humans that you know you're here to be a coach for. What is that experience of like finding your, let's use niche for the lack of a better term, been?
I feel like it's been really cool, because like at the start I obviously wasn't picky. I was like, you know, if it's an aligned client for me at the start was just a client wanting to get into health fitness, amazing, or whatever it was, like perfect. But now I feel like I'm naturally like already like attracting clients that are completely aligned with me, especially with working through relationships with food, because that's such a big part that I work on with my clients. And I feel like aligned clients for me is the person who is in it for the long term and like knows that it's not like I'm not a challenge type of fitness trainer. Like I don't push 8-week challenges, or I don't say you're going to get this fat result in 8 weeks and then you're done, like it's amazing, you're going to achieve that in 8 weeks. Like that's not me, and I never marketed that way at all anyway. But I feel like the aligned clients that are coming to me and the ones I'm attracting are in it for the long term, and they want to do the work, and they want to work through their relationship with food, and they see me getting to my point where I live my life, I feel great, I'm embodying a healthy lifestyle, and they're like, okay, cool, I can actually do that as well. And that's like my aligned client base really. And I really want to niche, like not niche down, whatever, but like I really want to help women with their relationship with food. And that's something that I've already been doing like since day dot anyway. And I just didn't even know how to like put words to it. But the more clients that were coming in, especially the past few months, like one of their main goals was, yes, achieve, be more toned, be more lean, whatever it might be. But also a main thing was work on my relationship with food and get that to a point where I'm not stressed all the fucking time around food and not feeling overwhelmed, not feeling restricted or whatever it might be. And I feel like that's what really lights me up, and that's what we work through with all of my clients. And even the clients who come to me and they might not know that they might not have the best relationship with food, but then when we start working together, they were like, it's happened yesterday, they reflected back and they were like, shit, I actually didn't have the best relationship with food. Like I didn't realize I could be living my life this way or could be feeling this way. So it's been really cool.
Oh man, there's so many things I want to say. Firstly, like the fact that where do I want to start this? There's so like 6 million different ways. I want to talk about you showing up online and you, like the more you step into yourself, the more you naturally attract those clients anyways, because that's part, like lifestyle is a part of, I remember what I want to say, lifestyle is a part of like what you really, really preach and what you embody and what you lead with. But it is no surprise to me that you as a human, and I'm going to like look at your business, you're not someone that looks for a quick fix. Like you know that you're in it for the long haul. And of course you're going to attract the clients that are the same. And it's even like what I was saying to you guys in our group mentorship call yesterday, like talking about how there are a lot of unconscious coaches out there who are marketing from a wounded place and attracting people to meet their wounds. And those clients, unfortunately, are going to go through the cycles of dieting, not dieting, this diet, that diet, try this thing, do that, like, because they're all looking for the quick fix. And I'm like telling you that those coaches are also going to be looking to like make money quick as well. They're all in that quick fix. But what we know is that when you actually step back and you go like, okay, well, I'm going to be eating food for the rest of my life and I'm going to be running my business for the rest of my life. So I may as well do it in a way that feels good, that feels aligned, that is sustainable for me. And I think like sustainable is a whole nother conversation, because what's sustainable for you might be different for somebody else. And that gets to be perfect as well. We don't have to compare ourselves to somebody else's standard. But when you really come into this place of like, I'm in no rush, I'm doing this to be sustainable, I'm doing this for the long haul, for like a lifestyle change, to implement it as a part of my life, you actually end up getting the results a lot quicker, and you keep them because they're built from a place of like internal power, not from, I need this quick fix, I need to lose the weight so that my boyfriend says that he loves me, so that this happens, or so that I get more Instagram followers, or I need to like sign more clients so that my mum thinks I'm successful. Like, it's none of that bullshit. It's just like, this is actually who I am and this is what I desire for my life, and I get to go out and create that. How fucking exciting. And when those clients are done on the hamster wheel of looking for the quick fixes, like because you're in this for the long haul, like you're going to be there and you're going to be able, I would be interested to know how many of your clients come to you being like, you're their first coach.
I've had probably like, let's say like 5 clients. I'm their first ever coach.
So most of them it's like, hey, I've experienced like bullshit unconscious coaches before, and like now I'm actually here to change my life. Like that makes absolute sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. And I even had a conversation with a client the other day where I'm her first coach, and she's been on the hamster wheel years, on the hamster wheel, yo-yo dieting.
Jenny Craig and like Michelle Bridges.
The whole lot. The challenges, like even like whilst there's nothing wrong with challenges.
Not at all.
However, like some are marketed, I guess, in a way where you achieve a result and then that's kind of it. Like, see you later, where they don't change their lifestyle. They don't change their habits. They go back to their usual habits and they end up in square one, et cetera, et cetera. I had this conversation with this client and she messaged me being like, I'm finding it hard this week. I'm struggling with this lifestyle change, like, et cetera, with her habits, her personal habits. And she's like, this is, not gonna lie, this is the point where I normally give up on health and fitness journey. And I was like, fuck yes, let's have this conversation. So I like dove in with the conversation. I actually did a bit of a Loom video for her because I was like, I love that you've brought this in and you've actually been really honest with yourself, because it's so true. Like, it's so common to try and go to the extremes for 3-4 weeks and then just like fuck it off because it does not work. And this client was so open and vulnerable, and she knew, like, signing up, she's like, I know this is gonna be hard for me. But I'm doing it for long term. Like I know I need to do this. So the fact that she was so honest and she was like, hey, I'm struggling. This is the time I normally give up. You know, like I don't want to get off the couch, like et cetera, et cetera. It's just like really cool to have that conversation and to remind her of the long term and what she's working towards long term. And it's like, if you keep playing out these habits and behaviors that are not serving you right now, it's like everyone's always after instant gratification, but it's just not going to pay off in the long term. And it's not like you're going to end up in the same position this time next year. And like, what's the life if you're just like on this constant hamster wheel where you just constantly feel shit and you're constantly like, you know, like chasing your tail? It's just not a vibe. And that's exactly like what I preach in the sense of a whole lifestyle change. And it's nothing excessive where it's like going to the other end of the spectrum where it's a whole excessive lifestyle change. It's just like actually looking at your habits, looking at your behaviors and finding ways to actually seamlessly improve your quality of life through these daily actions. And like most of my clients come on board and, you know, they start to do some new habits. They start to get into different behaviors and different even language around themselves. And a couple of weeks in, they're like, oh, wow, like this is like, I totally get why people feel so good. And it's like, exactly. Like it doesn't have to be this excessive thing where you're always constantly chasing your tail. You're doing fucking Jenny Craig, you're doing isogenics, you're doing 8-week challenges. Whilst there's a time and a place for those things for some people, I just don't feel like it's a sustainable thing for a lot of people where, yeah.
I've always said, like, because I think a lot of coaches can shit on group fitness, for example.
Yeah.
Like I've always said, if something gets you in the door,
amazing,
and you start, like incredible, but there comes a point, it's like, it's strategy, right? There comes a point where you outgrow the strategy that got you started and you need to transcend the structure and go into either a different strategy or more fluidity of a lifestyle, not an 8-week challenge. And that gets to be perfect. Like those things can teach us a lot and give us a lot of value, but it's having that mindset behind it that helps someone to take what they learned and implement it through their lives. And I just want to reflect back to you, like, it's so cool that client came in and had that conversation, and that's a big reflection of where she's at and what she's ready for in her journey. But it's also a big reflection of the safe space that you hold, because not a lot of, like, could you imagine, I don't want to like give a brand name or anything, but could you imagine a generic 8-week program and it's like a group fitness program and it's really low calories, all the things. Could you imagine someone coming up to them and being like, hey, this is normally the point where I give out? Like most people wouldn't feel safe to do that, because the answer they'd probably get in return was like, you don't want it bad enough and you just have to hustle more, and all this fucking wounded bullshit. It's like the safe space that you're able to create as a coach. And I'm sure you had an honest conversation, but I'm also sure that it was wrapped in so much love and nurturing and support. That's what's going to help someone to change and evolve. It's not this like shamey, leaky energy. It's actually support and nurturing, 100%. But directness in that.
And I think I got a question the other day in my question box on Instagram where it was like, someone asked a question along the lines of like, are you a really direct coach, or like, are you really strict? That was a word. Are you really strict with your clients?
I did see that.
Yeah. And I was like, that's a really interesting question. Like I'm not strict in the sense of like, you must do this, like XYZ, like bro kind of vibes. Like that's obviously not my vibe, but it's also like finding the duality between being direct, of course, but also nurturing and making sure that you, like, I always have my clients' best interest at heart, and I will always remind them of that as well. But it's always like, I pull my clients forward and I meet them where they're at, and then I pull them forward even more. And it's like this thing of, it's nothing like, I'm not here for like the strictness of the fucking like, you know, like David Goggins vibe. Yeah. While he's amazing, that's obviously not how I coach. Like that's extreme. So it's like, I would never shame my clients, because it just doesn't get them anywhere. It makes them feel shit and it makes them resent the whole process. And then what's that? Like, why are you then a coach shaming a client? Which, like, aren't you wanting to improve your client's quality of life? And that's always what I come back to. I'm like, I always just want to improve your quality of life. And if that takes me, of course, nurturing when you need it, and I know you need that because we build a relationship, amazing. And when it's like, okay, I know you can, you know, we can move on.
You can get a little speck of
we can start to progress past this habit.
Oh my God, I definitely have done that to you before. I remember there was a reoccurring conversation that we were having, and I was like, all right, I think like, I'm always going to support you and you can bring things in, but I think you're now getting like a bit of like an ego stroke over me supporting you through this, and you're actually not allowed to bring it in anymore.
I remember that conversation. I was like, yeah, you know what? That's fucking right.
Yeah, fuck. And I think that's something that I'm so passionate about. Whilst I love talking about like building your business and making money and like supporting your lifestyle alongside of that, like that shit gets me off and I love it. What actually I'm so deeply passionate about is you being a conscious coach for your other clients on the other end. Like it is so important to me that not only do you live a good life, but that your clients on the other end live a good life as well, because I know that you're showing up to them and you're able to feel into the frequencies of like, this person needs like a little bit of a love punch versus this person actually just needs to be seen and heard. And that's what's going to help move them through. And it really does make me so proud to see you preach this quality of life and to be a leader in that. Like I even know that the next level of your kind of like pushing yourself has now been starting to run, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I even think that's so cool. It's like, you know that you can experience this and you know that you can experience this, but you also know that you can find something that makes you uncomfortable and push yourself in that area too.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's always like, I always come back to, okay, if you're preaching XYZ to your client, like, are you practicing that? Because like no one's going to want to listen to your advice or follow your advice if you're just saying XYZ, but then behind the scenes not doing that. And people know, like people know. So it's like I did a post about me starting running and I was like, guys, I know that sometimes it's uncomfortable to go in the gym. It's uncomfortable running right now. Like, you know, we're doing this together. We're pushing our comfort zones in different ways. And it's like, again, like meeting the clients where they're at and knowing that sometimes people find it really fucking hard to step foot in a gym, whatever setting it is. And like me, like it's hard to go running. Like I'm not a runner. Like, and same with people who are in the gym, they might not have gone to the gym before. So it's like, yeah, I always make sure that I do the things that I preach and I'm like relatable in a different way. Like I'm like, yes, you're uncomfortable. I'm also uncomfortable in certain things. I push myself as well. Like it's like, yeah, I find that really important because I personally would never, like if you were a business mentor that was just like, yes, do this, and then you weren't doing any of it, like I would be like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But I know you embody everything that you preach and you come in the container with. So I'm like, yeah, amazing. Like I will of course listen with open ears.
And it's such an intangible thing. It's such a frequency. And like to any coaches that are potentially like, oh, but I am a leader in what I do. And like, but my clients aren't following. Like, just like take a pause and check yourself and get really fucking honest, not from a place of shaming yourself, but from a place of like genuine curiosity of, okay, well, where could there be an area where I'm actually dropping the ball? And like we see this so often in fitness coaches and health coaches that preach this lifestyle thing, and then they chain themselves to their desk and they're like doing check-ins for 40 hours a day and they're hating their lives. And like that to me just isn't embodiment. And whilst there's going to be times where, okay, you got 40 check-ins and you got to do them all today, like you get them done, but what's the dominant frequency? If you're not happy in your life and you're not leading yourself with health and wellness and like challenge and growth and all of the things that you preach, and I know specifically for you preach lifestyle a lot, and it's like no coincidence that behind the scenes you're living your lifestyle in the same way. Like I even remember when you were planning your Lift Your Lifestyle challenge and you were looking at all the things that you wanted everyone to check off, and like ice baths being one of them. I was like, Jazz, when I think about ice baths, I literally just think about Jazz all the time.
Literally, like the shit on that habit challenge made sense because I was like, yeah, perfect. Like this is me to a T, and like this stuff like really impacts your life. And I'm not just going to sit there and be like, yeah, do ice baths. I've never done one before. Like fucking live and breathe them.
Yeah, I heard on Human that ice baths are good for you. So now I'm going to tell you to do that. It's like, and it's not to say that you need to like go and do all of these things that are out of alignment for you so that you can be a leader. It's like actually know what makes you and what makes you JSC and Jazz the coach is like, these are the things that are important to me, and the clients that I attract are going to have resonance with these things. Maybe they'll have resistance to these things too, but there's something in that, there's something behind that. You don't have to do the ice bath thing if the ice baths aren't for you. You don't have to go running if that's not for you, but it's like find your thing, find your edge and push yourself in that, because there's going to be so much leadership that comes through that. And I think that's a really important part that a lot of people miss in being a coach or a mentor in whatever capacity that you provide a service in. It's like you're a leader. When did you stop leading? And to be a leader means to go first.
100%. I think you had a conversation maybe in the group mentorship a couple months ago about it was extraordinary.
Yeah.
That was a conversation about being a leader, and like you actually it was the conscious coach. Yes.
Look, she's put out a lot of content.
Look, I've been in a lot of Tess's spaces. No, it was the conscious coach masterclass, and it was like, even if you think you're not a leader, if you have a platform, if you're sharing, if you're a coach, you're a fucking leader. Like you really are. So it's like, look at the areas in which you're leading, and like and everyone will be different in their areas as well. Like I'm not a comp prep coach, so like I'm not gonna Like that's not what I do. So I'm not going to be doing a comp prep lifestyle. Like whilst I used to compete, amazing, but that's not what I specialize in, I guess. That's not what really lights me up. So it's like be a leader in what you are leading in, and like do it from an authentic place. I feel like always coming back to that is a big thing for me. And even like early days of business, I guess, as we know, I was getting caught up in a bit of comparison and like, as you do, whatever.
As we do.
Yeah. But it was always coming back to being authentically me. And also you reminded me of the long game and the long game, and playing at the long game. And that's what I've always come back to, the long game, because I know I'm in this for the long haul. Like since I was at that rock bottom place years ago, I knew this was going to be my path. And then always coming back to staying true to myself and being authentically me. I feel like those two things just, you can't go wrong if you're doing those things and if you're preaching those things, if that's aligned with you.
Let's talk about the long game. What is the long game for you and your business? I mean, like we're 6 months in, like a whole lifetime to go. Like where do you see yourself going? Where do you see, like I know, but I want you to share it. Where are you going to?
It's been really cool because like I feel like we had this beautiful conversation a couple of weeks ago where you came in actually and you were just like, you know, let's do another whiteboarding session. I know like I don't settle, but like I tend to like get really like, oh, this is amazing, comfortable, but also knowing that there's actually more and there's more to business and there's more to achieve, which of course. So I feel like when I sat down and did that, I got really excited and I was like, this is actually really fucking cool. I feel like that was the moment where I was like, this is actually my business and I can do whatever I want to do. If I want to hire a coach, I can hire a coach. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's been really cool. So the long term for me, I'm really passionate about I have never hosted one myself before, but I'm about to in March, like a photo shoot staycay. So a bit of a fitness retreat with a photo shoot, all about empowerment, all about just connection and feeling good and working towards feeling your freaking best and celebrating with a photo shoot and really like acknowledging where you're at in your current journey. Everyone's going to be different. That's coming up for me, and I feel like that's going to be a huge part of my business moving forward, as we've talked about. Fitness retreats, like all those types of things, I want to be a part of my business because I love like community and connections, also a big part of like living a quality life. Like we need those things, and sometimes with health and fitness, like especially if it's a new journey and you've never like embarked on this journey before of actually feeling good and reaching your potential, you might not have like-minded people around you, and that's a very common thing that I see with my clients as well. So it's like I'm so excited to like bring alive these photo shoot staycays, these fitness retreats. Like that's going to be a huge part of my business, which is going to be really freaking cool. And yeah, just like continue to do what I love, which is what I'm doing right now, and just continue to grow and evolve that. And I'm sure it'll go down many different avenues.
I love that so much. I want to speak to your whiteboarding sessions. And this is, I think this is a really good analogy, which I'm going to take like in multiple different fucking U-turns and tangents and whatnot because I can't help myself. Firstly, I told you to do that because I know like making a decision is so fucking powerful, and having it written down, and even like it's not necessarily to think about it every day and like affirm it every day and like whatever, but it's like actually there's so much power in making a decision, writing something down, and then going and living your life and like not being surprised when things come up that are seemingly coincidental but absolutely not coincidental. And even when I think about that, I think about for me when I've been reflecting a lot on 2023, and I said a word at the start of the year and it was connection, and then I forgot about it. And when I reflect back on this year, I'm like, oh, the main thing that's grown for me and the main thing that's blossomed has been connection. And it's no surprise when you make a decision that those things play out. And so we were talking about your previous whiteboarding session, and you were like, yep, I'm so glad I have this on camera too, by the way. You were like, yeah, I've done that. 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 And as I was thinking about this, I was like, I don't do the whiteboarding thing. However, I would really like to. Did you know that whiteboard paint is a thing? My friend Sarah and I were talking about this.
Whiteboard paint.
I'm like, I might contact my real estate. Like, can I paint a whole 100%. Wall in whiteboard paint?
I painted my sliding door as a kid.
Oh my God, that's epic. I'm just like, I kind of feel like I want to do this. But I know for you, like that actually visually works really well for you. And as I was contemplating it, and it was actually a conversation that Brody and I were having, and I was so excited, and I was telling him how like you ticked off everything, and he was like, sounds like she needs to 10x her dreams. And I was like, you're a fucking cunt. But, love it. But true. And then as I was thinking about it more, I was like, yeah, like we need to have another conversation. Like you have this thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go full time in my business and then that's it. And then you're like, oh yeah, maybe this could be possible. And like, I've always earned X amount of money. And once I get to that amount of money, like I'm good and that's it forever. And it's like, actually you have so much more potential. And when we play into that realm from a place of play, incredible things happen. And I'm so excited to see that unfold in terms of like, even when I think to when you decided to do the photo shoot staycay and it was like, is this too soon? Like I've only just started my business. Like, is this a distraction? And I was like, no, this is, when I hear you talk about it, like this your thing, this makes a lot of sense. And then you sold like more than 50% of the spots behind the scenes before you even launched it to Instagram, and then you launched it to Instagram. You oversold the spot.
Yeah, I did. I literally did. Yeah, it's crazy.
Which ended up working out. You actually had another spot anyways.
It was good.
But even thinking to those things, it's like, oh, actually for you, stretching yourself and making those decisions and those claiming those desires that, like I say, make your asshole clench a little bit. It's like, that's actually such a powerful move, because the way that you show up, it's like your chest opens and you're like, okay, I'm capable of this. And then everything that comes your way, every storm that comes your way, you're like, I know what this is. Like there's a rainbow coming here, and you go forth into it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I feel like that whiteboarding session where like I was writing down all of these things like with you basically, or I voice noted you after I did it. And even like, it's so cool having a mentor. Like it's the best thing ever. Like I would not have done that photo shoot staycay if it wasn't for you. Like I would have, I don't know how long, years down the track, maybe months. I don't know. Definitely not at that point, because it was like a fucking month into business or whatever it was something crazy. But you knew it was right, and you had that belief in me, and I was like, okay, if I've told, this is my thought process as well. It's like, if I tell Tess I'm going to do this, and she knows I'm passionate about this, I've actually got to do this. If it fails, we'll fail forward. So it's like 100%. Having a mentor that actually just like pushes you has been invaluable for me. And then you even being like, okay, like we can do more than that. And I'm like, oh fuck, like maybe I can do more than that. And then it's like, it happens. Okay, cool. What's the next level? And it's like, I never even like, I deep down, I knew this life was going to happen. I just knew deep down. I had this feeling, I didn't know how it was going to play out or when. It's played out sooner than I thought. But even like setting our new goals, even the financial goals, I'm like, holy fuck, like it's so cool that you're like, yeah, we'll get there. And like even talking to people about it, like that aren't in the business realm of things, like, you know, they're like, oh, that's amazing when you get there. But like, when you're by my side and you're like, yeah, we'll get there. I'm like, yeah, sweet, we'll get there. Like, I have no doubt. I'm like, yeah, amazing.
I love
like, I'm just like that person. I'm like, fuck yeah.
I love that so much. It's so interesting to me. Like, this is a big conversation about environment and who you're sharing different things with. It's like, you get to believe in yourself so deeply, but be careful who you share that with while you're still integrating that, because people's wobbles can make you wobble. But equally on the opposite end of the spectrum, people's security can make you feel secure 100%. As well. So it's like, it's no surprise to me that you say, I always knew I was going to live this life and I always knew it was going to be like that, because that's exactly how I've felt. And it's like, that's the type of person that I really want to work with. It's like, you're going to do this anyways. 100,000% you're going to get there some way, somehow. But I work with the humans that like want to make it feel good along the way. And they want to collapse the time in that, because it's like you said, it's like, yeah, I would have done it, but maybe it would have been in a year's time or in 2 years time or whatever. And it's like, actually, I truly know and believe that when you have a desire on your heart, even when you don't feel capable of it right now, like it's there for a reason, and all of the synchronicities are going to align, and all of the nudges that you need, or all of the information that you need, and the how is going to formulate right in front of your fucking eyes when you just claim that and you go after it, even in the presence of fear.
100%. And it's been really interesting, because even like mums being like, you know, like asking how everything's going, and like, because now that I've got one person by my side who knows me inside out and always has my back, and that's you, I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. Like I don't like go into like victim mode of anything, or like I don't share too much. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking thriving, which is true. But I'm like, I just need you to believe in me, and that's what you do. And I'm like, that's enough for me. That one person, whilst I know people around me believe me, and I know Mum and Luke and stuff believe in me, but it's just like, they're like, what's been happening? And I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm like XYZ, I'm fucking thriving, like blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, I don't even, like, it's just like, I just need that one person to believe in me, and that's all that matters for me. It's so interesting, because once you have that one person who believes in you, or however many people you need to believe in you, it changes everything. Because like you said, like I knew I was going to do this stuff deep down, but I also like had doubt, of course, and I didn't know when it was going to play out. But just having one person to believe in me has changed everything for me. Like fucking business in 6 weeks. What do you mean? I was planning for August, and even that was literally a stretch.
I'm actually going to kind of challenge you on that thought for a moment, because it's like there is a point in time where it's expensive to have one person that believes in you, and that's what gets you going. But you then, and it's not that you are or anything, but for anyone watching, it's like you don't want to then become codependent on that one person. It's like, I only mirror to you the self-belief that you already have.
Yeah, so true.
Like, I am a physical mirror of that, without any of the fears that get in the way, the conditioning that you've grown up with. And I can see through all of that and then show you already know you can do this. You already have it inside of you. Like, let's fucking amplify that part of yourself. Like, let's turn up the light and clear the dark, and then send it. It's not that you need someone to believe in you, but it's that I get to mirror that part that's already inside of you. And I really like the term permission slip. Like, it gets to be a permission slip that you get to believe in yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like I never had a mentor before you, obviously. Well, not obviously, but but even how it's like a self-led space. Like, if I don't plug in, I don't plug in. And like, you're not like, Jaz, are you doing this? Are you posting this? Like, it's not like that, which I love, because I'm like, okay, it actually is on me. Like, this all is on me. And like, you're there to reflect things to me and to encourage or whatever it might be. But it's like, it's not this, I guess, like hard ass plan of like, post this on Wednesday, you do this, have you done that? Jaz, what's XYZ doing? And I love that, because I'm like, I love that the responsibility is on me. Like, I think that's really cool. And it's also empowered, because it's like, I'm doing then what I want to genuinely do, if that makes sense.
And I think that also means that when you get the return from you taking that action and that responsibility, it's like, wow, I fucking did this. Like, imagine if I gave you all of the things and like I fucking did it for you, and I like spoon fed you, you would get the result and be like, oh. Yeah. But because you're actually like, oh, I have a responsibility here. Oh, I get to go after it, and I get to do it in my way, and I get to be supported in that. And like, I love now that our mentorship has developed and grown and evolved. Like, there was a time where you needed to know how to do things, and that's perfect. Yeah. But now you come in being like, hey, this is my idea. Like, and then we expand off of that, and then we grow off of that. And it's like, I really love that we're in a place where I'll never tell you what to do. And I don't think I have, but it's only a bit of a reflection of what you already knew. Anyways, it's like, I will never right field you like, hey, this will make you good money, or hey, this will get you good clients. Like, whilst those things could happen, it's like, if it's not your way, it's not the fucking way. Like,
yeah,
what's
exactly. And even like, you know, getting advice from different business coaches, whatever it might have been, like a whiteboarding session or whatever, and then coming into you with this whole plan, and then you even like hearing my voice and reflecting.
I was like, this is not it.
I'm like, fuck, that's so true. Like, it's really cool.
And I think like, as humans, we have a human experience, right? We're not neutral all the time. We get dysregulated, whether that be on the end of excitement or on the end of fear. It's like we experience both nerves and excitement in our body in the same capacity and the same frequency. Having someone who gets to be neutral for you and gets to ground you back in, and you get to borrow that neutrality.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, so that you can see that part. It's like, that is what gets to be so beneficial. And it's not that you wouldn't have found that answer anyways, because you absolutely would have, and maybe you would have done that thing and you would have wasted time and you would have been like, oh, this is not for me, and you would have found your alignment anyways. But you get to collapse time in that by like stopping and checking and coming in, being like, oh, am I activated here? Am I dysregulated here? Do I think I need to do this because this is what everybody does? This is what I should do. This is the normal thing to do. And then I realized that like, actually, that's not what I want to do.
100%. It's been really cool.
I love this so much. I'm like, I don't even know how long we've been talking for.
Either.
I feel like I could talk to you forever, but I'm also mindful of the
time.
The time that we hired the
professional setup.
I know. I'm like, this is so fun and cool. Seeing as this podcast is going to be released it's going to be the first podcast episode of 2024. I'm very excited. I don't know like when exactly it's going to be, but like, what would you say if you could choose a word for your year for 2024? What would your word be? I feel like I won't have to think about a fucking word too.
Yeah, shit. My word for 2024. I don't know. This is just coming to me.
Yeah, go.
I don't even know why. Surrender. That just come through me.
I'm so excited for all of the things that are going to come up. You're going to be like, I'm really trying to control this. I'm like,
yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah. I'm going to write that down.
I'll remember
it. Yeah.
I love that.
What about you?
I feel like there are parts of me that are like, oh, it should be like evidence, or it should be like money, or it should be like whatever. But like, I actually feel like it's already been the underlying theme of 2023, but just like more personal power. And like, I've felt like there's this, like if you thought I played big in 2023, I've felt like there's this like ripping energy inside of me that's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just ready to like go wild.
I'm really excited for you.
And like transmission, oh my God, when in our group mentorship yesterday, when one of the girls was talking about like Esther Hicks and Abraham, I like went and did a little bit of research to remind myself of it. And basically like Esther Hicks has this connection to source, which they name Abraham, and Abraham speaks through her. I was like,
wow.
I'm about to have a like fucking spiritual awakening of like some wild shit.
Some whack shit's going on here.
I'm sweating. And then I'm like, I notice all the conditioning coming up, being like, I'm about to get so judged. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited to just like play big in 2024 in terms of like, I feel like 2023 I played big in terms of placing my power outside of me. I'm going to do this course, I'm going to do this thing, that bodybuilding show, that I'm going to go to Vegas and this and that and that and that. I'm really excited to play big in my life in terms of like having a beautiful home and like investing in Brody's and my experiences. There's still mentorship containers that I definitely want to invest in, but that's from a really super aligned place, not from like a playing big outside of me place. Like I want to play big inside of me now. I want to step into the next level of myself and like really become the evidence that it gets to feel good along the way. And I think when I say that, people miss the context in it, where it's like, not every moment is good. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Like in order to get the rainbow, you have to go through the storm, but even the storm gets to feel good. Like it rained the other day and I was walking through the car park at the shopping, not the car park, it was like an outdoor car park, whatever. And I was like, isn't the rain beautiful? Like when did we forget? Literally, when did we forget that the rain is so nice and the storm is like a part of life? How good is it to wrap up in a storm and like cuddle in and be like, it's a movie night. Like it's really about feeling good through all of those things and being a leader in it and becoming the evidence that you get to have. Like I feel like 2023 for me was very much a training ground experience, and I'm like, 2024, like some big shit's gonna land.
Stay tuned.
Like the self-belief.
Self-belief is there.
It is wild. Let's wrap it up. As much as I could like talk for days, and we could talk for days, and this has been so cool, and I'm like, I'm so excited. Is so cool. The cameras and everything, it's fucking epic. And not to mention the content part of my brain is like, I've heard all the things you've said, and I'm like, she's going to use that on Instagram, and that's really good, and that's really good. Actually, let's talk about Instagram before the content before we wrap up, because not copying and not being influenced by what other people are doing, and really finding your own way to do content and your own way to show up. And like, I obviously watch all your stories and everything, and I fucking love when I'm like, oh, that's Jaz. Like that's the reels and the mic'd up. Like it's so fucking cool. What is your experience being seen online been like?
I feel like it's like since starting my business, because I had I've always had Instagram, but since transitioning into business and like finding my voice and being like, oh shit, like I've got to really start showing up here, I naturally was like, okay, I've got to be educational. Of course I'm educational still now, but I've got to be really formally educational, and I've got to not
and then there's
swear.
Tess like, cunt, fuck, shit.
Literally, and I was like, I've got to not swear, I've got to be really formally educational, I've got to do X, Y, Z, I've got to do all of these bikini photo shoots, like that type of thing. I was like, that's just a must. Like in my mind, back when I started, every successful business person, I thought like that was their Instagram. It was very like, like that. But since being like showing my personality more and actually even finding my voice with even like coaching and what genuinely lights me up. And I've even had a few comments which we'd love, and I forgot to tell you, from like people that I know but don't really know, being like, literally the past 6 months you've like really found your voice. And I'm like, literally I'm like, wow, like that means a lot, because I actually have. And I think even looking back, I did this the other day, looking back at my archives and my stories, I'm like, God bless myself. Like I was so like, I was just a bit like sheltered, like scared, like didn't want to say the wrong thing. That's a big thing as well. Like I always I never want to say the wrong thing. I never wanted to look like the bad person, which we've worked through, or still working through. But it's like coming into like myself, staying true to myself and showing my personality has been the best thing ever. And even sometimes I'm like, okay, you don't need to say it like that, Jaz. Say it how you would want to say it. And like even just finding my voice more in that has been really cool. And even with coaching my way and how I want to do things in my business has been really cool for me to actually learn of, like what I actually preach and how I want to live my life has been really cool.
I love your mic'd up sessions down. And there was like the funny little like side comments.
Yeah.
Here she is.
Here's the personality.
People want to connect with that. That makes me so excited. And like, I can't wait. I think especially social media, like it's always going to be an evolution. And I look back to the things that I was posting 12 months ago. What the fuck is that? Like, holy shit. But back then people were like, oh my God, this is the best shit.
Amazing,
like, it grows and evolves as you do. And that's absolutely perfect. And I can't wait to see what the 2024 version of you is. And it makes me so excited that you signed up for 12 months of coaching.
I know.
Because I'm like, I got to be there for all of it.
Literally, like when's our container up?
Well,
I feel like it's still
June, July.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about. I'll be with you for over a year because it was a year and 3 months, right?
That's feels like insane. A lifetime, babe.
I know. It really like does.
A fucking lifetime.
Just feel like you've been there forever.
And then like that's such a testament to both ends of the spectrum and safety and relationship building. It's like I talk to you all the time about how important relationships are. Like it just is the most beautiful thing. And I'm so fucking proud of you. Like
thank you.
Endlessly proud. And I cannot wait to see where you fucking skyrocket to and how the photo shoot staycay goes and the next one and like all of the things. For anybody that is potentially wanting to work with you or wanting to keep an eye or wanting to just like be inspired by you, where do they find you? What have you got coming up? Like tell us all the things.
Instagram is the best place to find me, jaz.sloane. And what's coming up for me, well, the photo shoot staycays, but that's of course sold out for March. But then I'm going to be doing
sold out. Sold, guys, you're too late.
Missed out on that one. No, but I'll be doing more. I'll be doing one most likely in September. I haven't locked in dates yet, but that's my next photo shoot staycay. And or coaching. I'm taking on spots for Jan, or this will come out in Jan.
Yeah.
But yeah, Instagram is where you'll find everything to do with me and my life and what I'm working towards.
Amazing. I love that so much. Thank you guys for listening or watching if you're on the camera.
How cool.
Might upload it to YouTube. It's a bit fun.
Hold on. Before we go, I was going to say thank you for literally changing my life. Like I truly, and I know you know I mean that, but like from the bottom of my heart, you have changed my life. And not just with business. I know, of course, we talk about business because that's the main thing. But like with every other part, with relationships, with friendships, with boundaries, with like everything. You literally changed my life. So thank you. You're amazing.
To me. I love you.
I love you too.
All right. Before we get sappy, let's end it. Bye, guys.